environment is everything that is around us, which includes both living and non-living things such as soil, water, animals, and plants which adapt themselves to their surroundings. It is nature's gift that helps in nourishing life on earth. The air we breathe, the water we drink, and the ground we walk on should be sources of life, not instruments of inequality. But as the time goes by, our environment is slowly changing and it's affecting us. One factor of environmental issue that can cause harm to us is pollution. Pollution transforms these fundamental elements into agents of harm, revealing a profound and deeply human crisis of environmental injustice. It's not a distant, abstract problem, it's a daily reality etched into the bodies and lives of most vulnerable among us. Pollution doesn't fall evenly. It targets those already burdened by systemic disadvantages, turning their existence into a constant struggle against environmental hazards. Furthermore, pollution can come in many forms and from many sources. Once released, many pollutants remain in nature and tend to accumulate. Some sources are widespread, like transports and agriculture, whereas others are linked to a specific place, like a factory or power plant. Chemicals, dust, noise, and radiations are pollutants that can alter air, water, and soil in a way that makes them harmful to our health and environment.
The consequences extend beyond physical health. Pollution exacerbates existing social and economic inequalities. Marginalized communities, often located near industrial sites or waste disposal facilities, bear the burden of environmental hazards. The stress of living in a polluted environment, coupled with the financial burden of healthcare, contributes to mental health issues. Furthermore, climate change, a direct result of pollution, intensifies these vulnerabilities. Extreme weather events such as flood and droughts dispose communities and disrupt livelihoods, further compounding in the suffering of those already marginalized. Pollution, an extensive consequence of industrial activity, inflicts a disproportionate burden on vulnerable and marginalized populations. The air they breathe, the water they drink, and the soil that sustains them become vectors for disease and suffering. Air pollution filled with particulate matter and toxic gases triggers respiratory illnesses like asthma and bronchitis, particularly affecting children and the elderly who often reside in densely populated, heavily populated urban areas. Water pollution stemming from industrial discharge and inadequate sanitation spreads diarrheal diseases and other waterborne illnesses, devastating communities lacking access to clean water.
Pollution has a huge impact on the environment, especially on communities that are already facing hardship. Air pollution, mainly from factories and burning fossil fuels, makes the air worse. It contributes to global warming and damages the ozone layer. Harmful gases and particles in the air also harm ecosystems by affecting plants and worsening climate change by increasing greenhouse gases. Water pollution, caused by untreated waste from factories and runoff from farms, poison rivers, lakes, and oceans, disrupting the habitats of animals and plants. This makes it harder for people in vulnerable communities to access clean water, further damaging both the environment and their health. Soil pollution, caused by things like pesticides, heavy metals, and waste from industries, damages the soil, making it harder to grow food and allowing harmful chemicals to enter food chain. All of these environmental problems not only harm nature but also make climate change worse, creating a cycle that hits hardest for those who are already struggling with poverty and health issues.
The concept of dominion over creation should be redefined as stewardship. Shifting from exploitation to care for the earth, this change highlights our responsibility to protect and sustain the environment. Embracing stewardship calls individuals and communities to critically assess their daily impact to our environment.
These actions contribute to God's kingdom by embodying the principle of responsible stewardship, a core tenet of many faiths. By actively working to reduce pollution and promote sustainability, individuals are participating in the restoration and preservation of God's creation, reflecting a commitment to care for the earth as intended. This stewardship extends beyond the physical environment, as a healthy planet supports the well-being of all its inhabitants, fostering a more just and equitable world. Reducing environmental harm demonstrates love for our neighbors, particularly vulnerable communities disproportionately affected by pollution, and ensures future generations live in a thriving world. Furthermore, advocating for stronger environmental policies and educating others fosters a collective responsibility, creating a society that values and protects creation, thus aligning with the values of God's kingdom.
Environmental injustice is really an inevitable sickness caused by humanity that plagues the world, manifesting in countless forms. From systemic oppression to everyday exploitation, it creates deep wounds in both society and nature, all of which are creations of one mighty God that has to be respected, cared for, and prospered. One day, with the exacerbation of environmental injustice, we might just find ourselves regretting for all the selfish acts that we have done, lost in an endless loophole of suffering from the detrimental effects of it. However, just as sickness has its cure, it can be fought. It's not yet the end, as we can still correct what has been wrong. Awareness is the first, resistance would be the next. Through courage, solidarity, and relentless pursuit of truth, we can destroy the walls that perpetuate it. While environmental injustice may never be fully eradicated, its grip can be loosened. One act of defiance, one voice, one change at a time.